Report on Global TV News Prime. Independent Electoral Commission says 1.9 million PVCs collected ahead of Osun governorship election. In business, federal government launches digital identity system for cooperatives. And on the foreign scene, Zambia votes as polls close as counting begins. And in sports, president of the Nigerian Fencing Federation, Adeyinka Samuel, wins silver at fencing championship. Hello and welcome to all our viewers in Nigeria and around the world to News Prime on Global Television, coming to you live from the nation's capital, Abuja. I am Jumai Manson. Now, quick reminder that Global Television is on DSTV channel 365, Star Times channel 276, and Free TV. Now, the news in full. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has called on the Independent National Electoral Commission (INEC) to use the Osun State governorship election to demonstrate its preparedness for the 2027 general elections. The president also charged security agencies to ensure the peaceful and transparent conduct of the election in Osun State. This is as the people of Osun State go to the polls on Saturday, August 15, 2026, to elect the state governor in an election being contested by 15 candidates. In a statement by Bayo Ononuga, Special Advisor to the President on Information and Strategy, President Bola Tinubu also urged the electorate in Osun State to come out and exercise their civic responsibilities. The Independent Electoral Commission (INEC) has assured Osun residents that the state's governorship election will be free, fair, and transparent. INEC stated this in Osogbo as ballot papers and result sheets arrived in the state capital. According to the resident, Electoral Commissioner Barrister Oluwatoyin Babalola noted that they were sent to the Central Bank of Nigeria (CBN) office, from where they will be distributed to other parts of the state. Babalola noted that the ballot papers and result sheets were reprinted following a court judgment which ordered the Independent National Electoral Commission (INEC) to put the name of the candidate of the Social Democratic Party (SDP) on the ballot. The Independent National Electoral Commission (INEC) has disclosed that 1.906.390 permanent voters' cards (PVCs) have been collected by registered voters ahead of the August 15th governorship election in Osun State. The figure represents 81.50% of the 2.339.233 registered voters in the state. Mohammed Haruna, chairman of INEC's Information and Voter Education Committee, disclosed this in a statement. According to Haruna, a total of 432.843 PVCs, representing 18.50% of the registered voters in the state, remain uncollected. He said the uncollected PVCs had been deposited with the Central Bank of Nigeria (CBN) in line with the Commission's procedures. The federal government is to strengthen collaboration between the Ministry of Information and National Orientation and security agencies with a renewed focus on tackling insecurity, misinformation, and emerging national security threats. Minister of Information and National Orientation, Mohammed Idris, made this known in Abuja when the Special Advisor to the President on Homeland Security, Adeyinka Famadewa, led a delegation to the ministry. Sadia Yakubu tells us more.
The Minister of Information and National Orientation, Mohammed Idris, described the engagement as significant, stressing that no single security agency or level of government can successfully tackle insecurity alone. He called for stronger coordination among the armed forces, security agencies, government institutions, and citizens, while warning that fake news, misinformation, and artificial intelligence-generated content could undermine security operations and create unnecessary fear. The minister assured that the ministry and its agencies will support the Homeland Security Office through strategic communication, public education, crisis communication, and timely information dissemination.
Security situation in this country or anywhere in the world is such that there must be collaboration between the security agencies, the armed forces, and the general public. And we, as members of the Federal Ministry of Information and National Orientation, we provide that opportunity for you to reach so many Nigerians through our engagement with you.
Earlier, Special Advisor to the President on Homeland Security, Adeyinka Famadewa, underscored the growing importance of information management, public education, and effective communication addressing Nigerian security challenges. Famadewa said the visit was aimed at establishing a stronger and more structured working relationship between the Homeland Security Office and the Ministry of Information. He identified key priorities, including the development of a unified national intelligence and surveillance system, stronger border security, improved tracking of criminal activities, and effective protocols for information sharing and emergency response. He also stressed the need to confront disinformation and AI-generated content, which he said have become emerging threats to national security.
Is to increase and establish a unified national intelligence and surveillance program. The idea is this: no space of land in Nigeria should be left unmonitored. We should be able to see what's happening, who is moving, and what they are doing.
The federal government says credible information, strategic communication, and stronger interagency collaboration remain critical to building a safer and more secure Nigeria. Sadia Yakubu, Global TV News.
The governorship candidate of the Allied People's Movement, APM, Adebayo Simon Adewale, has withdrawn from the Osun State governorship election and endorsed Governor Ademola Adeleke for another term. Adewale made the declaration in Osogbo, urging his supporters and APM members across the state to back the incumbent governor at the polls. Kikelomo Okeri tells us more.
With the Osun State governorship election drawing closer, the political landscape has recorded a fresh twist. The governorship candidate of the Allied People's Movement, Adebayo Simeon Adewale, has stepped down from the race and thrown his weight behind Governor Ademola Adeleke. Adewale announced the withdrawal at a press conference, directing his supporters and members of the APM across the state to vote for the incumbent governor. He says the decision followed consultation with party leaders, supporters, and stakeholders.
To withdraw from the Osun State governorship election. This decision is not born out of pressure or personal interest. Rather, it is a conscious choice to place the interests of Osun above personal ambition.
The APM candidate says his decision was driven by what he described as the need to put the interest of Osun State ahead of personal political ambition. He believes supporting Adeleke will allow governor to consolidate on the achievements of his administration and further advance development across the state. Adewale also stressed the need for politics to focus on service to the people, saying his decision was aimed at promoting peace, stability, and collective interest of Osun State.
Having carefully assessed the situation, I believe Governor Ademola deserves another term to consolidate the progress of his administration as recorded. Accordingly, I hereby declare my full support for the re-election of His Excellency Senator Ademola Jackson Nuruddin Adeleke.
With election now a day away, the withdrawal and endorsement add a new dimension to the context and could influence voters aligned across the states. Kikelomo Okeri, Global TV News.
Overlord to the Nigerian Police Force says it is intensifying preparations for the 2027 general elections, with senior officers and security stakeholders set to develop comprehensive security roadmap for the polls. The Force Public Relations Officer, CSP Annie Iniedu, disclosed this in Abuja while briefing journalists on the 6th Conference and Retreat for Senior Police Officers. Kikelomo Okeri tells us more.
As the countdown to the 2027 general election begins, the Nigerian Police Force says it is moving to strengthen its security architecture and stay ahead of emerging threats. The Force Public Relations Officer, CSP Annie Inedu, says the 6th conference and retreat for senior police officers, scheduled for September 21 to 23 in Owerri, Imo State, will provide a strategic platform to develop a roadmap for effective election security management. He says the 3-day conference will bring together senior police commanders, security experts, and other stakeholders to assess emerging threats and fashion operational strategies for safe, peace, and credible election. He added that deliberation will focus on intelligence-led policing, strong policing community partnership, digital technologies, and artificial intelligence to enhance police operation before, during, and after the polls.
Is particularly relevant as Nigeria prepares for the 2027 general elections. It provides an opportunity for senior police officers, managers, and relevant stakeholders to critically examine the security challenges associated with the elections and develop practical strategies for ensuring safe, peaceful, and credible electoral processes.
The FPRO says the conference is also expected to produce actionable strategies for protecting voters, electoral officials, candidates, election materials, and general public throughout the electoral process. According to him, the initiative is part of the police leadership broader drive to deepen institutional reform, professionalize personnel, and strengthen operational readiness ahead of the 2027 elections.
The conference will focus on strengthening the institutional capacity of the Nigerian police force for the effective election security and management. Decisions will include contemporary policing strategies, the application of digital technologies, and artificial intelligence.
For Lenders Consult International, organizers of the conference, the initiative represents a strategic investment in strengthening policing and national security. Its managing director and chief executive officer, Shino Phillips, says the organization has remained committed to the conference since securing approval to organize the event. He described the initiative as contribution towards supporting the police in protecting lives and properties and maintaining public order. Philip also called for greater public support for the police, stressing that securing electoral process require cooperation between the force and the citizens.
Electoral process largely depends on the police as the lead agency in internal democracy. We have partnered with the Nigerian police force since 2019 to help drive policing visions like this.
With 2027 general election drawing closer, the Owerri retreat is expected to sharpen the police security architecture, strengthen operational preparedness, and provide a coordinated strategy for protecting the ballot and securing citizens. Kike Lomo Okeri, Global TV News.
From Benue State comes a report that in Buruku local government area, poor access to farms and markets, insecurity, and high cost of agricultural inputs are putting pressure on rural livelihoods. The local government council is now responding with a targeted support, distributing motorcycles to improve movement and fertilizer to help farmers raise food production. Felicity Inderi tells us more.
Communities separated by the River Benue, mobility is more than convenience. It is the difference between reaching a farm or losing a harvest, getting produce to market, or watching it waste and keeping a livelihood alive or seeing it collapse. In Buruku, years of poor transportation, insecurity, and rising farming costs have made that reality even tougher for residents. But a new intervention by the local government is seeking to change the narrative. Motorcycles have been distributed to improve movement across rural communities, while farmers are receiving fertilizers to strengthen production, improve yields, and support food security. The chairman of Buruku local government area described the interventions as another major stride to strengthen institutions, support agricultural production, and enhance development at the grassroots.
Our people deserve, our traditional institutions deserve better because they are always there for our people. So we should do more for them. We are farmers, so it's just to boost agricultural productivity of my people and to increase and enlarge the economy of my local government.
For years, boats and canoes have remained a major means of transportation for communities around the River Benue. But dependence on water transport comes with risks, from difficult access to the dangers of boat mishaps. The ongoing construction of the Boroko Bridge, a federal government project, is therefore being seen as a potential game changer.
This is our normal place that we are normally crossing, but it's not favorable for us. If government are already doing the road, the bridge, if they do the bridge, we are able to cross and will not be sinking inside and dying as we have been dying before.
For beneficiaries of the motorcycles, the support could translate into faster access to farms, markets, and essential services.
Sometimes I want to come Buruku, it will take me problem to come. The chairman gave me a brand new machine today. I appreciate what chairman done to me so much.
It has never been done like this by the local government. Most of the time, it's the state that used to give us farm inputs. But this time, the local government chairman, for the first time, procure enough fertilizer to give to the farmers in the local government.
With motorcycles for mobility, fertilizers for farmers, and solar lights for communities, the Boroko Council has taken critical steps to take grassroots development to new frontiers. Boroko local government area of Benue State, Felicity Ndere reporting for Global Television News.
Minister of Education Dr. Tunji Alausa has announced a new 80% practical training model for agricultural education in Nigerian tertiary institutions. Speaking in Abuja while receiving the report of the National Implementation Committee on the Review and Development of Agricultural Curricula, Dr. Alausa said the reform is aimed at equipping young Nigerians with practical skills and strengthening agriculture as a driver of economic growth. He said the new curriculum reverses the previous 70% theory and 30% practical structure, 20% now allocated to theory and 80% to hands-on training. You are watching the live broadcast of News Prime. News Prime continues after this weather forecast plus business, foreign and sports stories on the other side of this break. Please stay with us.
Thank you for joining us. For most parts of the country, Friday morning started off on a fairly calm note. However, we are now seeing convective activities developing over parts of Central Africa, and these systems are gradually moving towards our region. Moderate rainfall and thunderstorms are expected across parts of the northeastern flank of the country. This is to include Taraba, Adamawa, Borno, some parts of Kaduna, Adamawa, Sokoto, Kebbi, Niger, Benue, and the Federal Capital Territory. The southeast and the coastal areas are also expected to experience few light intermittent showers, while isolated rain is expected over the southwest. Temperatures remain relatively low nationwide, with more intense and widespread rainfall activities likely during the evening and overnight hours. Residents in affected areas are expected to remain weather aware and stay safe. Thank you for watching.
You're welcome back, and if you're just tuning in, this is News Prime on Global Television. Thank you for staying with us. In Business Now, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu says Nigeria's refineries will soon return to full operation as his administration moves to reset the economics of the petroleum sector. The president gave the assurance while receiving the leadership of the Nigerian Union of Petroleum and Natural Gas Workers, NUPENG, at the presidential villa in Abuja. Kikelomo Okere has the details.
President Bola Ahmed Tinubu says the federal government is determined to revive Nigeria's refinery and make them commercially viable. The president says his administration is working to reset the economy of the petroleum sector with the aim of ensuring that refineries operate profitably and deliver greater value to Nigerians. He assured Nigerians that, despite current economic difficulties, sustained reform would eventually translate into greater relief and improved economic conditions.
We're just building a very firm reset and structural reworking of the economy of it. Ordinary flame and the smoke of refinery doesn't mean that it's working until it's profitable and yield the value for which it is built. I'm not my responsibility now as the president to fix it, make it work.
President Tinubu also raised concern over the distribution of the benefit of compressed natural gas (CNG). He says the expected gains from the CNG initiative are not sufficiently reaching Nigerians, with truck owners allegedly capturing a significant portion of the benefits.
And equally, the introduction of compressed natural gas. Well, I will appeal to you, we will do more, we will encourage you, but ask your drivers to let it trickle to the commuters too, because whatever benefit that is coming from CNG is going to in the pocket of truck owners.
Responding, NUPENG President Salimon Akoni Oladiti called on the president to stop the casualization of workers in the oil and gas industry, particularly in the upstream sector. He also urged the federal government to revive the Nigerian Pipeline and Storage Company depot across the country. According to the union, restoring the depot will complement ongoing efforts to revive the nation's refineries and strengthen petroleum product distribution.
Sir, Your Excellency, we want to humbly request that the same energy and drive to inject life back to refinery be extended to the decaying Nigeria Pipeline and Storage Company, NPSC, depot across the country. We strongly recommend they can be handed over to private investors to manage under equity arrangement.
The success of the refinery revival could mark a major turning point for Nigeria's petroleum sector, reducing dependence on imports, strengthening local production, and easing pressure on consumers. Kike Lomo Okeri, Global TV News.
Still on business, the federal government has signed a memorandum of understanding with the Cooperative Federation of Nigeria and SimFix Limited to deploy a national cooperative identity, trust, and digital governance infrastructure. The initiative includes a 6-month national revalidation and recertification exercise for all existing cooperatives. Verified societies will be onboarded into the National Cooperative Smart Registry and issued a cooperative verification number. All members will receive a cooperative member identification number. The Minister of State for Agriculture and Supervising Minister of Cooperative Affairs, Aliyu Sabi Abdullahi, says the digital system will improve transparency, access to government interventions and loans while helping government track beneficiaries and straighten regulations. He also directed stakeholders to harmonize existing reviews of the Cooperative Society Act into a new digital-focused legislation. On the foreign news now, President Prabowo Subianto said the Indonesian government will close more than 750 state-owned enterprises by year's end, mooting the possibility of a special court to investigate unproductive boards. Barbawo added that so far 290 enterprises have been closed, and by December 31st there should be no more than 300 left. Barbawo mooted the creation of a special ad hoc court to investigate the management and boards going back 30 years may be. But he also asked lawmakers to consider a kind of special amnesty for those who repent. Zambians have voted in a closely watched presidential election, with polling stations closing and the counting of ballots getting underway in a contest that could determine whether President Hakainde secures a second 5-year term. The election has effectively become a referendum on Hichilema's economic record, with voters weighing improvement in the country's microeconomic position against persistent concerns over the cost of living, unemployment, electricity shortages, and whether Zambia's mineral wealth is translated into better living conditions for ordinary citizens.
Voting took place across the copper-rich Southern African nation, with about 8.7 million registered voters eligible to participate. President Hakainde
President of the Nigerian Fencing Federation, Adeyinka Samuel, has written a new chapter in Nigerian sporting history, becoming the first Nigerian sabre fencer to win a medal at the Commonwealth Fencing Championship. Of all fencer turned administrator, Samuel returned to the post after 13 years competing in the men's sabre veteran category. He faced seasoned rivals from Wales, Australia, and Nigeria, rekindling the spirit of his competitive days with grit and precision. Samuel overcame 3 of his 4 opponents, including compatriot Tonye Saweri, with his only defeat coming against eventual champion Oliver Messi of Wales. That performance earned him a silver medal, the first of his fencing career, and a landmark achievement for Nigeria. As Global TV News Prime comes to an end, let's take a quick at our top stories again. The Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, has disclosed that 1.906390 permanent voters' cards, PVCs, have been collected by registered voters ahead of the August 15th governorship election in Osun State. In business, the federal government has signed a memorandum of understanding with the Cooperative Federation of Nigeria and SimFix Limited to deploy a national cooperative identity trust and digital government infrastructure. And on the foreign scene, Zambians have voted in closely watched presidential election, with polling stations closing and the counting of ballots getting underway in a contest that could determine whether President Hakainde secures a second 5-year term. And finally, in sports, President of the Nigerian Fencing Federation, Adeyinka Samuel, has written a new chapter in Nigerian sporting history, becoming the first Nigerian sabre fencer to win a medal at the Commonwealth Fencing Championship. Now that's it on News Prime. Here's a quick reminder that Global TV is on DSTV channel 365, Star Times channel 276, and Free TV. Kindly follow us across all social media platforms now showing on your screen by using @GlobalTVNG. I am Jumai Manson. Thank you for watching.